Hey guys, this is Myleek and this is the podcast. You know, I love to come on here after I've had some time to think through a thing or two. And so my latest is to ring the alarm to get you to do something with all of the knowledge you have acquired. I love learning. You know this. I really do. And right now, it is so easy to get an answer, to get language for just about anything you can think of and things you probably never thought you would. We are continuing to be inundated with access to just about anything. We are being served up and we are able to search and get more answers. Just this week, in my online community, we had one of my one-on-one coaching client alumni talking about anxiety and success. She is a licensed therapist, and when she dropped some language on the group, I could see everyone's eyes light up. She got through about halfway of her presentation. We're doing like a summer school series. Y'all know I love a summer school anything, but she was talking about the difference between intrinsic ambition and trauma-driven ambition. And I saw everyone's eyes light up because we love language. And I get it. Having language can make something that feels really hard, or, you know, maybe you haven't been able to pin it down. It feels messy. Having language makes that feeling, more understandable. And being able to use and say phrases like, that's people pleasing or burnout, and now intrinsically motivated or trauma driven motivation, that's a trauma response. And having that language makes things more understandable. And when we don't have the language, we often feel confused and sometimes maybe even defective. But with language, I know this, we feel seen and sometimes we feel a bit of relief, a little less alone. And being able to dig deeper and learn more about terms and topics feels very productive. I have a lot of people, they get something. I went on YouTube, I went on Substack, I punched it into AI. And we take these terms and we just keep digging, and that feels very productive. That little loop right there is real sneaky, y'all. It can create the illusion that you understanding something is the same as you changing it.
If you've ever blasted synth beats from your boombox or burned CDs for your besties, this one's for you. As people get older, much like their music tastes, their health needs change. AG1 is the simple daily health drink designed to deliver over 75 essential daily nutrients and pre- and probiotics to support energy, digestion, and mood, so you can make the most out of every decade and dance break. Learn more at drinkag1.com. You have one new message. Translating. Disney and Pixar's Hoppers is now available on Disney+.
You could say that again.
Critics are calling it Pixar's funniest movie ever and a wildly entertaining ride. Blizzard Potato. It's certified fresh and verified hot.
Now we party.
This is incredible!
Wow, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Disney and Pixar's Hoppers, now available on Disney+. Rated PG.
And so something we are all really good at is being able to accurately explain our patterns while still being trapped by them. Oh, I know I'm people pleasing, or I know I'm avoiding conflict. I know this is not aligned with my values. Okay, girl, now what? Now what? And this is what I'm beginning to untangle in my work. I have a lot of people who come and they are able to accurately explain what is going on and why they're stuck. They have grand ideas that they know are possible, but they cannot figure out how to implement them because implementation is hard. And the block I'm learning is rarely tactical. It's usually an old belief. Something I see a ton is a fear of visibility. Some people, there might be a survival pattern, Or I'm going to throw another term out there because we love this, but I do want to explain it, or identity fragmentation. And that one is really simple to understand. Identity fragmentation is when the person you are becoming is at odds with the person you've had to be. You know what you want, and you might even know exactly how to get there, but there are different parts of you that are operating from old beliefs, fears, expectations, making it difficult to move consistently toward the thing you say you want. And that gap between knowing and doing is rarely logistical. It's typically emotional, So what things are usually on the table? A lot of fear. There's a lot of overwhelm. Perfectionism is often in the room. There might be a lack of structure, a lack of support, or just not having a person to help you untangle these things. And I have had times with this work where I feel like people might be rolling their eyes because it seems too simple. You have this thought that sounds true in your head, and then you say it out loud, and the right person gives you a new perspective or some feedback that helps you separate what's real from what's just fear. So working with someone may not always yield new information. I feel like I just need to say that sometimes. Sometimes you just need a place to think through and untangle what you already know, because I believe that insight is social. Insight often emerges in relationship. What does that mean? You say something out loud. Someone asks you a question. That person reflects back to you what they just heard you say. Maybe they notice a contradiction. Maybe you notice it. Maybe they challenge an assumption. Maybe you begin to challenge it yourself. Sometimes I can say something to someone and they say it back to me, and it does not sound like the way it did when it came out of my mouth. I'm like, word for word, that's what I said. That person can often, the right person can often help you see a perspective that you can't see from inside your own experience. And I have people like this in my life. I have a particular friend that I try to go drive to visit multiple times a year. I'm actually having him in a summer school session in the community on Monday, whenever you listen to this. So even if you don't get this, I'm going to record it and post it. But I'm actually having him come in the community because this is that person for me, that person who helps me see things that I can't always see on my own. And if I had $100 for every time I've heard the phrase, oh, wow, I never thought of it that way, I'd be richer. We often imagine breakthroughs as these solitary moments of genius. We see it, you might see something online. Oh my God, I just had a breakthrough. But most breakthroughs happen because another person helps us see ourselves more clearly. It's usually not done by trying to think harder about what you already know. Okay, my leak. Tell us what you think people really need. So I have a list. I have a list, and this is the part where you break out the notebook and you can spend some time with this, because while I think people need many things, this is my most concrete list right now for what I think people really need. I think people really need, number one, hand holding. I don't know if y'all remember this. Maybe you did this, maybe you didn't, but I definitely did in my 20s. Do you remember going for an ear piercing or a body piercing or tattoo for the first time? That's not something I ever wanted to do by myself the first time I did it. Sometimes you really need somebody there to hold your hand while you do the thing you really want to do, even if what you're doing doesn't resonate with that person. Maybe they don't want a tattoo. Maybe they're not getting their belly pierced or nipple pierced or whatever the heck we were doing back then, but they can absolutely be there with you and support you. They aren't doing it for you. They're not giving you any information, the blow by blow. They're not telling you anything. They're just present. You need somebody who can handle that squeeze. I don't know. Y'all got a tattoo on my foot, which was easily the dumbest thing I've ever done. I got a tattoo on my foot. I couldn't even get it finished. So if you ever see me and you want to see 1/8 of a tattoo started on my foot, go ahead and ask. But You need someone who can handle that squeeze when things feel really painful or hard. You need someone that you can look across the room and their eyes tell you it's almost over. You're doing it. It's going to be okay. And I don't think we give enough credit to hand holding. I think that we don't seek it out because we've been taught not to want it. And I'm just going to say to you, it is okay to ask someone to hold your hand, because I believe we all need far more support than we are allowing ourselves to have. Far more. Okay. And I'm going to riff for just a second, because this part of like hand holding and support and us needing more. I recently hired someone to help me figure something out, and she helped me figure it out, and she gave me a sort of prescription that required me hiring a specialist to do something. And so I said to her, okay, I'm going to hire the specialist, but what's my part? And I cannot stop thinking about this, but she said, you are going to put the burden on the person you hire. You are going to put the burden on the person you hire. I don't need you worrying about the problem that you are paying somebody to handle. Let this be their burden. Listen, put the whole thing on somebody. You deserve far more support than you are allowing yourself to have. And I say this to the clients. I say, this is the equivalent of letting the dishwasher do your dishes. This is the equivalent of letting the housekeeper clean your house. You don't need to do it before. Put the burden on them. Instead of you being worried about what they're going to think about you, let them be worried if the house is going to really be tore up today. That's their burden. Okay? Because we need more support. Number 2, cheerleading. I wrote about this on my Substack. You need somebody to cheer you on when things get really hard and uncomfortable. When you've quit your job and the business is booming, but it's a lot. When the wins are still there, but they're hard to see because all you can see are the problems instead of the progress, you need a cheerleader. Sometimes you just need somebody to remind you that discomfort does not mean you're on the wrong path. It might just mean, friend, that you are stretching into a life you have never lived before. Next, I think you need strategy. I probably have hated on strategy before because I get like that, but I'm coming back to defend strategy. Strategy 2.0. I'm an updated strategy. You need someone who can help you figure out what actually works for your life. A lot of people know what they want to do, but they keep trying to apply generic advice to a very specific situation. You should see me when I start to slide down my chair when somebody repeats a phrase that is making its way around the internet that does not apply to them or what they're building. You need somebody who can identify your strengths, marry them with your capacity and your season, and then help you figure out what you're going to do consistently. And that is a skill.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The empty seat. Who is actually just that, an empty chair in your office because you couldn't find someone to fill it. So it just sat there costing you money with all its fancy ergonomic features. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can make it easy to fill that seat with the right candidate. With nearly 60% of businesses finding someone to interview in the first week alone. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
one that I do well, but that is a skill. Somebody has to help you do that, because we need to figure out, what are you actually good at? What is your current capacity? What season are you currently in? And then what is the thing that you're able to do consistently? That's like, I say this, if your fingerprint is unique to you and you are one of one, why would you think every single bit of advice or framework applies to you? Sometimes you have to tweak it. It's just like if you buy something that's super cute and then you have to bring it home and you have to tailor it because your torso is short or long. You know how the arms are too long. You got to take that up. You have to tailor or find somebody that can help you tailor this to you. Okay. Final thing on my list that I think you need is accountability. I love it when a client hops on a call and tells me that they did something, they did their homework, something they said they were going to do 2 or 3 days ago, or even the same day, because they did not want to show up and tell me that they didn't do it. And get this, every time they do their work, they get some kind of little breakthrough or big breakthrough. There's some new information. They've got a different perspective. There's evidence that the story they were telling themselves wasn't the whole story. Our brains love evidence. And I mean, I'm not going to punish somebody if they don't do their work. Number one, because I would never do that. But number two, there's no real way to do that. This isn't about getting gold stars or detention. There's just something really powerful about knowing someone is going to ask you if you did the thing you said you would do. They remember what you said you wanted and they just gently hold you to it. It makes it much harder for fear and self-doubt and distraction to keep running the show. And so here's what I know for now. Information is everywhere, but the support that you need is not. And most people need a place to say, okay, now what? With people who are actively doing that work beside them. And that's why I started my coaching community at the top of the year. The clients that I have seen make the biggest strides are the ones who commit. That's a word that I want you to hold on to. We're at the mid-year point, but that's a word I want you to hold on to, because the commitment is what is going to get you through. Sometimes you have to just say, I'm going to commit to this in this season. And when you make the commitment, I'll share something I did that recently with. When you make the commitment, you're not looking to extract or have a win every single time, right? So whatever year this was, I said to myself, I am going to spend the winter getting my daughter swimming. From this day to this day, I'm going to commit to that. So we did it. And, our results are actually greater than anything I could have imagined if I had just said, I'm going to sign up for 3 lessons, or we're going to do 10 lessons, or, I said, we're committing for the winter. And so once the outdoor pool opened back up, so we swam indoors all winter, and now that the sun's back out, it's like, okay, we're done. But that commitment made her we joke that she is one of the best swimmers in the family. I really just want her to be able to survive on vacation, and now form just the girls good. And so hold on to commitment, because the people who stay with the work long enough to close the loop usually build that kind of sustainable momentum, right? That sustainable momentum that's not just a flash in the pan. This is now a lifestyle, and this is who you are, because I'm sticking with this for 6 months. I'm sticking with this for a year. I'm doing this for a couple of years. Commit. I recently shared online that one of my clients worked with me long enough to get her bakery business up and running. She knew everything it took to open a bakery because she had done a version of it before. She wasn't lacking information. What was happening is that she was afraid to fail. And I got that. So I said, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to start small. So she kept her job, and we set a goal of we're going to do $2,000 a month to just cover the overhead. And this is one of those like ghost kitchens, guys. And the first month she opened, she went viral and made $35,000. Another client had a therapy practice making about $4,000 a month before we started working together. 4 months after our work, she hit 18K. And after that, she got a $30,000 grant and is now on track to earn $1 million in revenue this year. And before you think that these are stories about business, right? Like these sound like stories that are about business, but they're not. I'm sharing these stories because they are stories about implementation and finally doing the thing you already know how to do. So let me just say this again. Most of us don't have an information problem. We have a support problem. Maybe even have a courage problem. For sure, a consistency problem. But more than anything, I feel like a lot of times we have I've never done this before and I don't want to do it alone problem. You don't have to do it alone, you guys. I'm going to tell you, you probably know more than you think you do. And the question then becomes, what do you already know that you're ready to act on, but you just need a little help? And so I'm going to go back to what that person said to me. Where do you need to put the burden on someone else? Where do you need to let someone else be worried about your progress? Because your life isn't going to make those significant changes that I know you want to make because you learned one more thing. Your life changes when you do something with what you already know. And maybe, just maybe, you just need a little bit more help. Thank you guys. Long time no talk. I'll be back.
Stitch Fix. Stop shopping, get styled.
A+ on the outfit, Miss Turner. You are about to slay parent-teacher conferences.
Oh, these? Just the most perfect fitting jeans my stylist sent me.
Oh, hello, you, who didn't set one foot in a mall and still looks amazing.
Just share your size, style, and budget, and your stylist sends personalized looks right to your door. Stitch Fix. Get started today at stitchfix.com.
To my stylist. This look is dedicated to you. Thank you. Thank you.